Three guys who combined to play 15 seasons in the National Football League trenches. Well, two guys. And Mackey, who didn't do shit. This is the O-Line
Yeah, dumb football questions edition of the O-Line Committee. Call it part 2 of our Week 6 recap. We've got questionable internet Alex Boone. We've got pounding New York-style pizza Jeremiah Sirles.
So
I'm
good.
trying to hold this thing together.
So good. Hey, someone's got to
what's
keep
on
this
there?
in the rails. Just
a little
pepperoni.
pep?
Just a classic. Just a pepperoni
Some
cheese
pep.
pizza.
Keep it simple. A little hot honey.
You got to
Little
keep
hot
it.
honey
They
on
had so many options. I was like, no, just kiss. Keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple, stupid.
there. Stupids.
So, okay, we got like 30 or 35 minutes here to cram in at least a couple of my dumb football questions for you guys, and then we'll turn it over to the audience. You guys keep submitting your dumb football questions in the YouTube comment section. If you haven't already, maybe you're new to the O-Line Committee, welcome in. We got two dudes who spent a decade and a half in the NFL trenches. I played football in 8th grade. But yeah, click that subscribe button and the like button on the O-Line Committee YouTube channel. So here's dumb football question number 1 from me. How would you feel if you played for the Cleveland Browns right now?
Go for it, Ohio boy.
I would be livid. I'd be pissed. I would. I'm sorry. Listen, I've never been okay with shit like that. And everyone knows I was raised by a lot of women, and I would not be okay with some shit like that. But on top of it, like, when you talk about a team that's like, we are handcuffed, there is absolutely nothing that we can do right now, and we have to put this dude out there. Like, you're really kind of caught in it, and that's where your professionalism comes in. And that's where you have to go to work, and you do your job, and you do it as hard as you absolutely can, and you do it for whatever reason that you got to do it, because the old man told you to, because the boss man's looking at you sideways. Like, you get it done. But yeah, man, it's a cluster there, and it doesn't seem like it's getting any better. And eventually you wonder how much a team can take, because, dude, and not only that, but like the city, like, everyone knows I love Cleveland, and everybody in the league used to make fun of me all the time because I'd always look up at the scoreboard and be like, oh, they're losing. People are like, why do you care about Cleveland? I'm like, dude, I'm from Cleveland, man. I want good things for Cleveland. I always played in the NFC, so I didn't give a shit. I was like, I want good things for those dudes. But you wonder how much those fans can take, because Jay said it in the last show. The people putting the money into the beer and then the stands and buying everything and the merchandise, eventually they're going to get really pissed, and they're going to be like, this is bullshit. We come from a blue collar city. We are work hard motherfuckers, and this ain't what we are. Like, this is not what we stand for. And not only that, but we're losing. Like, it just, you feel terrible for him, because there's nothing you can do. And you know who I feel the worst for is Kevin, because Kevin's the one taking all of it, and he's the one.
He's a good coach, man.
He's a great coach. He's a great dude, and we've talked about that several times. And you know he wants to be able to be like, I wish I could, guys, but we can't. The dude paying the bills said no. How about that? Like, Dad said no for the last time. That's why it's like, you just show up and you go, all right, listen, we're going to make the best of this. And there's been times in my career where you're like, hey, we're in a shitty situation. Let's just go out and have some fun. Let's just go out and change the narrative. Let's see if we can't just rethink this whole thing over and stop reinventing the wheel. Maybe we're just making it too hard on ourselves. But at some point, too, you worry about the fans, because they're going to be like, this is bullshit. And ain't going to be anybody there left. And then what's going to happen? I mean, dude, it drives me nuts, because I'm from Cleveland, obviously. And I'm like, I want better things for them. But what can you do?
I think it's interesting when you think about the going to work. No one views it like this. You have to go to work as a professional, because no other team, when you hit free agency, no other team, if you get cut, is going to look and be like, oh, well, he played like that because he was on the Browns, right? I'm saying if you're a different positional player than Deshaun Watson, no one's going to give you the out and go, oh, yeah, we'll pay you big money, even though you didn't produce over there just because Deshaun was your coach. It doesn't work like that. There's no excuses for the way you play in the NFL. So you are a professional. It is your job to show up to work and perform at a professional level, regardless of the situation of your season, regardless of the situation of the team management. None of that matters when it comes down to the individual performance side of it. And it's always weird to think about, because the NFL is the ultimate team game, but there is an individual performance piece that comes down to every single week being evaluated, every single week showing up to work. What kind of character are you? That all matters, because if you don't want to die a Cleveland Brown, you're eventually going to want to go on another team. And the only way you're going to be able to get out of there for a good amount of money or anything is if you play well. So you can be upset, and behind closed doors, you can bitch and you can moan to your buddies, and we can say this is that and the other thing. But at the end of the day, you have to show up and perform at an elite level every single day, or else you'll be out of the league before you know it. And I hope the young players on that team understand that. that they're not looking around going, oh, poor is me. Oh, the rest of the NFL feel bad for us. No one gives a shit, man. No one else feels bad for you in the NFL. There's not a single soul that's watching you going, that's unfortunate for them. No, not a single one. So, yeah, it would suck and you wouldn't be happy about it, but it doesn't matter. You still have to go to work and perform every
You know
single
who's performing,
day.
though? Myles Garrett. Did you see the jump, dude? he didn't even. So for those that don't know, the hardest part about that is not the first jump, it's the second jump, because you have to jump, catch, and go right into it. He didn't even jump. He just had like a hand up, like, yo, you're mine. And I'm like, dude, once again, you're looking at a defense that's doing everything they can to keep you in these games. Eventually there's going to be an internal mutiny where it's like, okay, we're done. We're done keeping you in the game by scoring more fucking points than our own offense. We're done. Good luck on your own. Good luck trying to score 42 now. Like, you can't have that, man. And that's where I come to, like, you have to make a decision as an owner. Like, eventually you have to be like, listen, this is just good for everybody. Whether you go out straight up and you're just like, we're going to bench him. We're going to do something. Because
do you get fired, though, as a GM? Like, if you decide to bench Deshaun Watson,
you're going to take the bullet.
Are you signing your death warrant as a GM? That's my biggest question. Like, if you finally decide, it's from like Breaking Bad, right? Like, you've been chasing this forever, and it comes out that the giant drug owner was your brother-in-law, right? Like, if that happens and you're the GM and you go, you know what? We're handcuffed. We're going to pay this dude all this money, but we're sitting him down. You're probably signing your death warrant as a GM in the NFL for the next 5 years.
But you're getting fired anyways,
right?
Aren't you?
Do you want to be there though? You're really looking at this situation like, dude, next year we're not going to have any money anyways. Like, you're looking at this like, and I don't know, I can't speak for Eric Berry and what he said, but I'm just telling you that as a GM going into this, I would have been looking at the owner like, we're going to pay this dude how much money? Guaranteed? Wait a minute, we're going to do what? Are you sure about this? Like, at some point I'm like, who's signing their death warrant here? And you can say no all you want. When the head man says yes, you're like, we're locked into this. So at some point it's like, dude, you're going to go down with the ship. You might as well just look at it and go, let me see if I can try and salvage some part of this. And I'm not saying Jameis Winston's going to be the be-all, end-all of everything, but the dude's funny as shit, right? Like, the dude, I enjoy his shit. I enjoy his shit a lot. And it's funny, and I think Cleveland would appreciate it, and it would be just a better
He'd pull
narrative.
the trigger, man. Like, he
is a feast or famine player. Ball is gone.
Water.
Gone.
The craziest thing, though, you guys, the craziest thing about this is when they signed that contract, there was two major like categories of, okay, what's this player going to be like? There was the public relations disaster of the crimes that he committed or the lawsuits that he settled, and how would that sit with the public? Allegations, right? And how would that sit with the public and with the locker room? But the bigger question has been something that probably wasn't even asked for more than 5 minutes, which is, will he actually be a good quarterback?
No.
That's the baffling. Dude, he led the league in passing yards.
We've said it. You cannot sit in this league for more than 6 months and not throw a ball at somebody running full speed and be like, yeah, I got the timing down. Like, nothing about that.
But is the timing gone forever then?
No, like, it's not that it's gone forever, but it's at some point it's like, dude, we're going to throw this dude into a live situation after not playing for 2 years. And then what? We're just going to expect that he's going to be Brett Favre, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. What the hell were we thinking? 2 years he hadn't played? And we're all like, oh, it's a surprise he's not good. I had no idea. Like, dude,
it's like anything. It's a tool. It's a tool, and if you don't sharpen the tool every day, it dulls. And in the NFL, the razor-thin margin between good and great and good and terrible, if you're not honed in on that skill, especially at the quarterback position, it's not. I don't think it's something you can get back. I really don't. I don't think it's something you can just all of a sudden like, oh, flip the switch and I'm back. Look at Aaron Rodgers. He missed a whole year. An entire year.
He's 41 though. He's 41. Deshaun Watson's in his prime.
But I'm saying it's
the same thing though. Yeah.
It's a similar thing of just missing time, right? Like, Aiden Hutchinson is going to come back in hopefully a year, and we'll see how it looks. I think it's going to be the same thing with Hawkinson. Anyone who misses extended periods of time and tries to come back, it's just hard to trust your body. Right, to trust your body that, like, okay, but then when you just haven't done it, and all of a sudden there's a 275-pound man that wants to kill you, and things speed up and mechanics speed up, he just doesn't look polished. He doesn't look sharp, and it's not unsuspected, like Boone said, because you haven't played in so long. it's gonna dull. And he should be in his prime, but he might have passed it already, and because he didn't play, we'll never see it again.
And he's taking a lot of sacks. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not all him. Like, they are getting him hit a lot, but that's the thing is, like, you're not going to realize how good you are until you are in those situations. And when half the time you're running around for your life, you're like, guys, I can't really get into a comfortable situation. Look at this dude just eating a bite of pizza.
Just pounding
you guys.
New York pizza right now.
Yeah, I mean, dude, Cleveland, I love my brownies, but my God. Hey, Sam Darnold to the Browns? Let's go, man. Hey, listen,
man,
we got to keep you cheap, bud. We got to keep you cheap. We love you, but free beers in the city, wherever you go. That's what Cleveland is like. If somebody would just win something there, free beers for life.
See, that's why they're even, because they can't even, Darnold's going to make $35-40 million. They probably can't afford that.
See, that's the thing.
They cannot afford
You're
that.
really screwed going forward for a while. You are.
Their only option is to
rude.
draft. Their only option is to draft a quarterback because they're going to be up in the top. They're going to have to draft a quarterback and then maybe start him over your $275 million quarterback.
You're going to have to. You're going to have to for sure. Just
I
don't
think
fire
the
Kevin.
hardest part about, my last thought on this is the hardest part about this is the Cleveland fan base got a small taste of success last year with Flacco.
Yeah.
With Joe Flacco.
It was right there. They started winning some games. They were fun to watch. And the starving fan base of Cleveland was just like, it's happening. Like, the pieces are there. Deshaun's going to come back. It's all happening right in front of our eyes, boys. Like, just like Boone said, the kegs are going to open. The beer's going to flow like wine. And then just to have it just ripped out from underneath you and just be standing there, it's just such a – I just feel for the Cleveland fan base because they deserve it.
I have to go back this weekend, and I am not excited to run into people to talk about Cleveland because when I went back last time, that's the first thing they said, like, dude, what the fuck? I was like, oh, man, I feel for you guys. I do. I really do. Just keep drinking. Just keep – it'll get better. It'll get better. They'll kick the owner out eventually, and then you'll find a new owner. I'm telling you, that is my life goal, to buy the Browns and just first Super Bowl there. Crush.
We better sign some more clients.
We got this, dude. We're going to crush.
A couple more advertisers on the O-Line Committee podcast.
Yeah,
that
dude, don't worry. I got this. I'm going to leverage my house. We got this.
Next one's from Harambe the White, who has definitely asked a question before.
For sure, I've heard Harambe on here. I know I have.
He says, with the New York Jets, because it's funny that the Robert Saleh thing happened right when we got done recording last week, and then you're going to be at the game tonight, so we'll know more about post Robert Saleh Jets once they play a game tonight. But with the New York Jets now firing their head coach, do you think any head coach with a grain of sanity in their head would look to avoid that job like the plague, considering how drama-filled that team is with Aaron Rodgers? Or how appealing do you think that job is?
It depends. Number one, is Aaron out of here after this year? Because if he's gone and we're allowed to, is he still staying? I thought this was
he's under
his last
contract,
year.
right?
He is? Oh. Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah, they redid it, right?
I'm out.
Yes.
I'm out.
Now, he redid it and actually took a pay cut so they could afford
guaranteed
to bring
money
in
next
some
year
other
for
players.
it?
So he restructured to a 3-year contract, $112 million. And technically, so it's one more year through 2025.
Yes.
With void years through 2029. But he has a cap hit of $23 million in 2025. So pretty reasonable. But he will be there if he wants to.
But you're not going to cut him. Yeah, you're not going to cut him with $23 million.
Why are you?
Well, so the dead cap is 49.
Ooh,
and then and then the void dead cap is 35 and 20 into the 26.
You're not
just say
$50
million of dead cap.
$50 million in dead cap. So no, I think it's out. Still because being a head coach is such a privilege and it's such a distinguished thing. I do think there'll still be someone that says like I want to go be a head coach in the National Football League and I'm willing to stake my reputation on my ability to coach and turn things around. Like, I do think it's going to take the right guy.
Right.
I think it's going to have to be an older coach. I don't think you can hire like a Mike McDaniel type or a Sean LaFleur or a KOC, like a younger head coach to come up there. I don't know. Belichick goes back.
Think about it. Think about it.
You're going to need like a Dan Quinn.
I
think Dan Quinn would have been a perfect guy to go up there.
He's at Washington. Leave that man alone. He's doing
but I'm saying
things.
Like if this was last year, like Dan Quinn would have been like my number one guy. I'd be like, dude, go take Dan
Brian
Quinn.
Flores.
Yeah, that defense. That's the
Mike
Vrabel.
Mike Vrabel.
Baffling.
Vrabes.
Like yes, Those type of coaches are going to need to go up there and put the hammer down and be like, I've been in winning organizations. I know how things are supposed to be done. It's my way or the highway, man. Like, no more of this jolly-go-lucky happy horse shit.
I'm calling it right now. It's Vrabes.
Like,
it's Vrabes.
Including you, Aaron. Right? Like, including you. And I absolutely would want to go be a head coach. I mean, you can't turn down an opportunity to be a head coach just because you don't like the situation. You never know when the next one's going to come. So I still do think that I still do think that if you want to be a head coach in the NFL, it's not like they're just popping up and down all the time. I think that for like a chance, you got to take it. You got to go. Take it.
I think here's why you think you got to go with like a Belichick or you go with the Vrabes is because the media. Like when you talk about the media, if they get anything, like if you get a Mike McDaniels and things go south, it's going to go really south. But if you get a Belichick or a Vrabes and it's like, I don't want to answer this stupid fucking question, I'm not going to answer it. It's more like, no, you're not going to push me. You know who I am. I come from a very old school tree, and this is who we are. We're very quiet, and honestly, I'm thinking it has to be a defensive coordinator because it's going to be one of these guys. It's like, listen, you go do your thing. I'm going to go do my thing. We'll meet on Friday and talk about everything. Let's get this going. It's like the Tom and the Belichick, right? Like, let's meet on Monday. Tell me your game plan. Tell me what you're thinking. Dude, I watch videos all the time of those two together.
Here comes the conundrum that I have with that, though. Are you hiring a quarterback that can, or excuse me, are you hiring a head coach that can handle the old quarterback? Or are you hiring a head coach that's going to rebuild with a new, younger quarterback? Because you don't want to hire one just to have, okay, now 2 years Aaron Rodgers is gone and we need to go draft a new, young quarterback to help develop. We've seen that movie with Belichick, with Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi. We saw that movie with Vrabel, with Will Levis, right, and moving on. So you have to make a decision as ownership for the Jets of, are we hiring a coach that's going to be the Aaron Rodgers connection? Or are we hiring a coach that's going to weather the storm through Aaron Rodgers' contract, and then we're going to start all back over with a new young quarterback and draft one in 2026, 2027, and go from there? That's where the question really becomes when you're selecting who's the next head coach of the Jets.
But when you talk about those quarterbacks, you don't know who drafted those. Like, who knows if Vrabes was in there like, yeah, Will Levis is our guy, or if he was like...
Dude, the head coach always has a say in it. I do not believe that the head coach...
But that's what I'm saying. Like when you talk about Belichick, for sure, he had his hand on everything, and he was the one that was like, Zappy's our guy. And I'm sure that they were... By the way, has anyone seen the series, the Patriots series yet?
The one from like a couple months ago? Yeah.
Yeah. Have you watched it?
Yeah, it's outstanding.
I gotta watch it. Because I want to see. Apparently, they were making fun of it. I've been watching the Julian Edelman show, and they were making fun of it because they had like a scene where Belichick was listening.
It's basically a roast of Bill Belichick.
Yeah, and they were like, dude, he never listened to Bon Jovi. That never happened. He's like swinging
the Gronk
his thing.
impression was hilarious.
Hilarious.
I'm sorry.
We're talking about like the spoof.
The Aaron Hernandez thing.
Yeah,
the Aaron Hernandez.
The Hernandez thing.
Okay, yeah.
No, I need to watch it because at first
I need to watch it too.
I was like, oh no, this is real. Like when he's doing the Gronk laugh.
I couldn't wait to watch. I cannot wait to watch. But that's my whole thing. Like, we know Belichick had his hand in there. So if I'm New York, if I'm Woody Johnson, I'm looking at this like, maybe he doesn't know what he's doing. Maybe we get a GM in here. But if you look at that Vrabes, and you could easily be like, Vrabes, what's up, man? What happened? Vrabes could walk in and be like, did I want that dude? I'm a defensive guy. I'm a no bullshit, all hardcore, fucking ready to roll. And that's why I think he's great for meshing the storm. Right? Like, obviously, Aaron's going to say something. Vrabes be like, dude, I beat you. How many fucking times? I beat you. I physically beat you in a fucking game. How many interceptions do I have off of you? How many fucking rings do I have over you? Like, there's a guy that you can't really stand up to because he's one of the guys that fucking was in the thick of it. And you know Vrabes, dude, we saw him last year at the Combine. He's always, he's moving, man. Like, it's one of the coolest dudes you'll ever meet in your life. And that's why I'm like, man, if I'm Woody Johnson, I'm looking at this like he's just the right amount of old and the right amount of young to be like, Aaron ain't going to check him. And at the same time, he could be like, hey, tell me what you're thinking. Let's talk a little bit. Let's become friends. Let's do this. Because you're right. You don't want a Mike McDaniels that's going to be in there and things go sideways. And all of a sudden, it's like, well, let's just have a good time. It's like, nah, there ain't no good times unless someone's putting a foot in someone's ass. Like, this is how shit rolls.
I think Saleh's an incredible defensive coordinator.
For sure.
But he clearly felt uncomfortable commanding that relationship with Rodgers. He didn't have the reference points or the experience. Vrabes makes sense, man.
I love Vrabes for that job, dude.
I'm so curious to see the difference between angry Giants fans and angry Jets fans, right? Like, because I'm gonna get both tonight. I got
it's gonna be great.
Giants fans last night, right? And I'm just going, are they equally as mad at the Jets?
But who are Jets? Jets fans were mad at Saleh and they got him fired. Even
I don't
though,
know,
like,
were they?
Are they mad at Rodgers?
They were mad at Aaron.
I thought they were mad at Aaron. I mean,
Well, you're going to find out tonight.
It was like fire. Oh yeah, we'll find out tonight. I mean,
I can't
literally
wait.
The first incomplete pass that Daniels threw, it just boo. Right,
When
just
you
raining
texted
down
us,
a bomb.
I was like, oh, I can't
oh my
imagine how
gosh,
bad
dude.
it is.
Like they were so upset, and so yeah.
Well, that's
see
another
tonight.
thing. Like, dude, and I don't know if you've ever been around when a coach gets fired, but like normally the next game they win because they're like, guys, we're just gonna go play balls out free. Fucking who gives? We're going streaking in the parking lot afterwards. Like nobody gives a shit about anything. They're like, coach is gone. The Wicked Witch is dead. So if they come out tonight and they throw for 500 yards, I would not be surprised. Like I would be like, okay,
Daniel
here we go.
Hackett's not calling plays anymore, right? They took play calling.
Todd
away
Downing.
From him. Yeah,
Todd Downing is
not gonna work here anymore.
They fired the defensive head coach that held the 5-0 Vikings to 17 points.
Yep.
Right? How many points was it? 17 points and
23. Yeah, but
I don't count the defensive coordinator. I don't count the defensive touchdown.
Oh, I see. Yep, 16.
Right? Like you see what I mean?
Fair.
Like they held that offense to 16 points, right? And then you fire the guy that's D coordinator or the defensive guru just to promote the D coordinator. You then
don't fuck with Olbrich.
Play
He was my
calling
teammate.
duty away from the offense that has scored 93 points, which is the exact same amount of points that they scored the year prior through 5 games. And you're going to say Saul is the problem. None of it. And so I think it goes the other way, Booney. I think it goes the other way tonight. I think it goes the other way where everyone's looking around like, I don't know what happened. Dad just slapped mom at the dinner table, and it's a nightmare. Who do we talk? Who do we look to? And the Bills are going to come in and just go pedal down. And I could see this thing going off the rails very quickly early in this game.
First of all, shout out Olbrich, Jeff Olbrich. I played with Jeff at the Niners. And they started showing up some old highlights of him, and I was like, oh my God, I totally remember this guy. The shark, he has a shark on his arm, and he had that big beard. But I was thinking the same thing.
I didn't know that about the tattoo, but if you were to have asked me, what does he have tattooed on his arm? I'd say barbed wire and
I thought about it for years. I was looking at it in so many meetings like, what the fuck is that? Oh, it's a shark. Oh, I get it.
About right.
But hey, I agree with you. You fire the defensive head coach to promote the defensive coordinator to head coach, and it's like, what are we doing? Wait a minute. I'm confused. But that's kind of the reason why I'm like, if anything, you know that Aaron and Robert were just not meshing. And I know he's over here like I had nothing to do with it. I guarantee you he was like, listen, I can't do
love
this
his
anymore.
family.
I can't. He tried to hug me. Can you believe he tried to touch me? He doesn't do ayahuasca. And he tried to touch me. Would he get rid of him? Woody's like, dude, I'm dealing with UK relations. What the fuck, man? What's the problem?
Yeah. That's Ambassador Johnson.
I have a team.
Aaron. Okay.
I own a team.
Let's go to Corey Larson here in the YouTube comment section. After listening to the rookie quarterback discussion a couple weeks ago on O-line committee, do you guys think Drake Maye is going to be the next Sam Darnold? Talented player in a horrible situation. Now, he did throw 3 touchdowns yesterday.
He did.
Running
We're
for
going to
his
talk
life.
about that for a minute.
Could he be a guy that eventually just needs to revive his career in a few years? I love how we're doing that already.
No. Listen. I know we're already blowing this dude up. I think here's what's going to happen. Number one, one of the stats that I was reading, and I hate stats, but this came across my thing, was he was the only rookie in his start to throw a touchdown. And I was like, man, that actually is pretty incredible. It's considering like what Jaden Daniels has done this year.
Like 3 weeks.
Yeah, I was like, wow, I didn't even think about that. But then you look at it and you talk about some of the sacks that he's taken. And this is one of the things where I think we thought it would be later down the road that they were going to put him in. But you talk about like hurting a guy and like really messing him up. And this is one of those offensive lines where you're like, you're going to have to start max protecting a lot. You're going to have to start RLing Lee Ray. We are all going left. We are all going right. We're chopping defensive ends because I do think he's a talented player. I really, really do. That touchdown to Booty was fucking dope. But at the same time, I'm like, yo, he can't take this many hits. He's way too young to let this dude, and especially the way he's been taking him. You're like, dude, they're coming out of nowhere. You guys have to hold up. So I think this is more of a situation where if you're the Patriots, you're like, hey, we need to bolster our O-line. Under no circumstance do we go after anything but O-linemen all offseason. Like, you know they're going to go and find 8 guys, and they're going to be like, we're going to bring them in from all different price points, from the high 20s to the low 8s. And they're going to be like, everyone's fighting this out. We're going to continue to build around this kid because he's talented as shit. But you just look around and you're like, there's no one to go to. There's nothing to do.
Well, that was the plan with Jacoby. That was the plan was with Jacoby, but Jacoby got hurt. Right? Didn't he get hurt last week? I mean, and wasn't that my mic that he was going to have to die in order for Drake to live? Like,
couldn't go long enough.
He died 10 weeks too early. Right? Like the plan was to get him
Damn it,
through
Jacoby.
the entire year. And, at week 6, he's like, I can still do it, coach. And they're like, shh, it's okay. He's like, I can do it. Right? And they had to put the kid in. And that ruins a quarterback's confidence more than anything is getting hit. It doesn't matter if you're super talented. You even see it a little bit with Joe Burrow right now. His feet get a little happy in the pocket. They start speeding some things up. Like, it just, when a quarterback is used to getting hit, they can never reach their full potential, ever. Because they're never going to be able to sit back there, feel good in the pocket, step up and go. They're always going to have that clock that just develops as a quarterback in the back of your head. And if you're getting hit from a rookie on, that clock immediately speeds up. Everything gets too fast for you, and it's hard to slow things back down. So unless they can start protecting him better and getting some more answers for him quickly on the edges, it's going to be hard to watch Drake Maye, at least this year, see what his full potential could be.
He's going to have to be special, man, to overcome the next couple years with no high-end weapons and a franchise that's asking him to save them from this post-Tom Brady, Bill Belichick dynasty.
We get creative on offense. I know my O-line can't hold up. Let's just get the ball out quicker. If we're going to do certain things, we're going to max protect in specific ways. We're going to find creativity some way. Like, I think that maybe at times, and I go down this road too, but you have to turn around and be like, but wait a minute. We knew this is what we had. How did we not better prepare for this? How did we not? Why are we out here throwing these 7-man routes and all this shit? It's like, we're going to have to simplify things if we want to win or at least be competitive. And defensively, we're going to have to step up at every game to throw this up. But what is nice is you look out and some of those throws that he had were beautiful. And you're like, wow, that is...
The natural talent's there.
Oh, absolutely. But how do we protect him?
I mean,
how do we keep him upright?
You plant him on the Bears. You plant him on the Commanders. Like, you put him on the Atlanta team or the Denver team. He has immediate success, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
I really do think he's just as talented as those guys. Those guys just all have a much better supporting cast. Right. And sometimes that's just the luck of the draft or the unluck of the draft. Depends where you go, is how good you can be off the rip.
And honestly, talk about talent around you. Houston, getting Joe Mixon back. Boy, that was something special. Like, dude, their offense is starting to rip a little bit. It's starting to get really exciting. And I felt bad. I really did for Drake Maye, but at some point I was like, my God, Will Anderson Jr. is just destroying everybody out here. Like, could somebody just...
He's ridiculous.
Dude,
can somebody just block this one guy? Like, my God, it's hard to watch that shit.
Yeah, Houston, by the way, both of their running backs, Joe Mixon and Dameon Pierce, had 50-plus yard runs in that game as they ran for a buck 92 on 28 carries.
Looking
it's ridiculous,
good.
Man.
Looking good.
Which... One more for you guys here. Good segue here. This is from Ryan Denny, YouTube comment section. Okay, you guys get the choice between one elite running back or one elite wide receiver on your offense, but you can't get both.
Running back.
Which one are you picking and why? Are you taking peak Derrick Henry or peak Justin Jefferson?
Who's my quarterback? That makes the entire argument.
Okay.
Do I have an elite? Do I have a top 10 quarterback or do I have a 10 through 20 quarterback?
You have Jared Goff.
Oh, running back.
Running back
all the way.
Dude,
everything's coming from the play action.
Okay, you have Caleb Williams.
Running back. Give it to me. I'm telling you right now. You have
Daniel Jones.
Listen, how about this? You have Kyler Murray.
Anyone but
you have Kyler Murray. You took an elite wide receiver. This is what happens. Like, at times, I feel like this league, you need a good running back because you need the fear of running the ball, but at the same time, just that little dangle gets so many people bought. You look at what the Lions are able to do. The 49ers back in the day, like, when they have elite players, and the Niners don't even have elite running backs at times, they're still getting it done. You just talk about the fear of being able to push down on someone and be like, we're just going to run the ball. We're just going to slam it right in your goddamn face. And then we're going to do that enough of that you're going to start stepping up, that all of a sudden we're going to let our tight end just go right by you. And he's 6'6", so it doesn't matter. He's a white guy. He's not athletic. He's just going to catch it and fucking run. Like, it makes life so much easier when you have a running back that, now, if you're talking about elite as also in like a Saquon, a guy that can run and catch the ball, I'm definitely taking a running back because now the threat of the screen game becomes real. The threat of him across the middle becomes real. The threat of me motioning him out there and having him do something silly becomes real. Like, everything you have to take serious. Whereas I always feel like a receiver, they're like, hey, just bracket him. Yeah, everybody else has to show up now.
But the elite ones beat the bracket. Right?
I agree.
And that's where I go back and forth on what's better to have. But if you have to select one, you got to start with the running back because the running back can open up the receiver. The receiver, in my opinion, can't open up the running back.
No.
Right? The receiver, you can bracket a receiver, and yeah, you're going to play too deep, and you should still be able to run. But if you don't have a running back that can hit holes, make proper reads, run through arm tackles, then it doesn't matter what they line up in. But if you have a running back that puts the fear of God, like Booney said, where you have to put a safety in the box because the unblocked player is the corner ain't tackling that guy, then that's when you can open up the receiver. So probably just because we're linemen, but I'm definitely going with the running back.
But I agree with you. Then that was the perfectly said, and that's what I was trying to get to was the running back unlocks the receiver. The receivers don't unlock the running backs. Just because we're throwing the ball doesn't mean that once we put a running back there, they're like, oh my God, guys, watch out. When you start pounding a dude, like first down, you grinding them out, all of a sudden the defense is like, oh boy, we got some problems today, boys. We are going to be in for the long haul, because then all of a sudden you start ticking down time, and then at the same time you're like, hey, let's just go beat up on these corners. Let's toss it out here. Let's spin it over here. Like, there's so many fun things you can do with the running back. And don't get me wrong, I love receivers. Most of them are divas. But at the same time, if you have an elite one, there's ways to use them. It's just...
Did you
Trevor
guys see
Lawrence
that
might
LSU?
tell you.
Did you see that? Hold on, before the did you
Yes.
see that LSU video of the receivers that I sent you guys?
Yeah.
How it's just that's everyone's like, I saved that video, and if you haven't seen it, it's the LSU receivers did an Instagram live after they beat who was it?
Never go live
Ole
on
Miss.
Instagram.
First of all,
Never go live.
Anyone who's listening to this, never go live on Instagram after a post. Like, never. It's not worth it. Take a video, watch it back later, decide is this good to post or not. Maybe run it by your people, but do not go live and just start like. Put the phone in the middle and then invite your other stupid buddies around to come too and let them say dumb things too, and then get surprised when you get in trouble. It's mind blowing to me. It's what. Listen, I saved the video, and anytime someone asks me why don't you represent receivers, I'm just going to hit send, and I'm just going to send it to them and be like, do you see me handling this situation well? Do you see me handling this situation well at all? Like,
I want to see Jeremiah with like 8 high maintenance diva receiver clients on his agency roster, and just see what his life is like.
I want to see Jeremiah with one diva O lineman. That's what I want to see. I just want to see that until when I call him and I'm like, hey, man.
Stop it. Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
I would never. I'm kidding.
Amazing, man. Well, all right. Well, we should probably let Jay continue to roam the streets of New York City.
Dude. Yeah.
I got to start the trek to MetLife soon.
It's going to be a great game, though.
Planes, trains, and automobiles, man. We got ferries, we got boats, a whole bit. We'll make it over there eventually.
Are you going to
just swim across the Hudson, man? Just swim.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of what you do as an agent, too, is you hit up the front office people and you run into them on the game and create relationships. And then, obviously, I'll see McDermott and hopefully Bean and see those guys from the Bills organization, too, because obviously I still know a lot of guys there. Deion Dawkins, Josh Allen, try and run into those guys before the game, too.
Tell Deion I said hello. I'm a huge fan.
I will. Love Deion.
No.
Tell Aaron Rodgers he's a raging narcissist and he just ruined
seriously. We can't stand him. Wait, you were all bottom. Weren't you all bottom?
Purple. You heard this guy Score North does this podcast.
Jay, what you should do is be like, I owe my co-host a steak and a beer because you suck so bad this year, and I'm just gonna just tell him straight up, like, dude, listen, they're gonna rage at a steakhouse because of you.
Hey, comeback season. Everyone loves a good comeback story.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. All right, he's traveling Jeremiah. We got Booney. By the way, championship back-to-back 13-year-old football champion coach.
Champs, baby.
Let's go, dude.
I will break down the film tomorrow.
All right, guys.
Yes.
We'll see you next time on the O-Line Committee.